Now, in a down market, it might be tempting for retirees to hold on to more cash, but how much is too much? Vanguard's Maria Bruno tells Morningstar's financial website.
Cash can play a role, but think about it more in terms of spending. Whether it's near-term spending, it might be okay to have a little bit of a buffer up to a year, 18 months in cash, but anything more than that, you really need to understand that there's an opportunity cost to not being invested in the market, and that will manifest itself over time because the portfolio is not able to keep up with inflation.
So, guys, I have to wonder, is a year to 18 months in cash a sufficient buffer for retirees, or should they maybe consider setting aside more?
Well, I would say there's certainly risk in what's considered riskless investment in this example, like cash. So, when you look at almost double-digit inflation numbers, and you look at the fact that, most savings accounts are fully taxable, that's like losing money safely. At the same point, we have developed this process, our unique approach called the independent income system, where we have different buckets of money that are designed to accomplish different things. There's certain buckets of money where it kind of makes sense on having, different time frames. I'd ask you guys first, what is your thought process when it comes to, how much money somebody should have set aside in cash? What would you guys say to that?
18 months in cash seems to me a little excessive. Typically, we look at between 3 and 6 months, 3 months if maybe there's some sort of family event, somebody's going through a hard time, there's been an injury, 6 months, person's lost the job, they're relocating. 18 months, that's an awful lot of money that's just kind of sitting around. 18 months, that's an awful lot of money sitting around. Maybe you could look at doing something different with part of that money. Keep it liquid, but you want to earn some interest on it, because if the money's just sitting there, it's losing purchasing power, especially with the rate of inflation.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I think if you look at the most families that are out there today, we think about people that live paycheck to paycheck, and, unfortunately the market and the economy for, a long time has done pretty well. Of course, we've had a couple of incidents with COVID, and this year, the market's been a little bit shaky, but overall, when you live paycheck to paycheck and the first time you lose your job or something unexpected happens, it can get you into big trouble. Dan, what's your thoughts? How much cash should a family have on hand?
Well, I would say between 3 and 6 months at the absolute most. Nolan, I mean, like Bill pointed out, I mean, if you get over too far to the wrong side of that, you're losing investment power, you're losing money, really, essentially. I mean, I've got friends that had situations come up where their kids graduated during COVID. They couldn't find jobs. Now they've found jobs, but they can't seem to figure out which job to keep. But they're at home. The bottom line is they're at home, so that was an unexpected expense that creeped in on them. And they've been able to weather the storm because they did have that emergency fund set aside, if you will. But investing that fund could be a problem as well. But it looks like they've managed. They had a plan. They consulted their plan, and things have worked out so far.
Yeah, it really, when you kind of put it all together, it depends upon where you're at in life and, where you're at in your lifestyle. I know as people get older and closer to retirement time, the point where they need that money, bulking up and having more money set aside to cover, our current income bucket of money, you want to be thinking about things of the next 1 to 5 years and how money is going to be played out. But as you talk about, it's kind of like lazy assets, right? It's lazy assets within your portfolio. The good news is because of the changes that the Federal Reserve has made this year with raising interest rates, there's so many great ideas to take a look at. If you think about retirement, if you're not going to get up and go to work every day, your money has to get up and go to work every day. So when you look at your financial assets, if you're looking for things that maybe doesn't put your money at risk, but isn't as lazy as cash, checking savings account, here's a couple of good pointers for you. First of all, U.S. government I-bonds. If you haven't taken a look at U.S. government I-bonds yet, you really need to take a look at those type of returns. Great direct from the United States government, almost double-digit type returns. The next thing is money market rates. I've seen money market rates dramatically increase this year, and as of the data recording, some money market accounts are as high as greater than 3%. The last thing is fixed index annuities or just fixed annuities. those rates have gone up. So things like traditional bank CDs, fixed annuities, if you have money that's not working hard for you, money that's in that 0 to 2% range, there can be some other great things to make your money work a little bit harder for you to get all the money working in the right direction.
It's all about, as Ms. Bruno talked about and the guys talked about, making sure that you have money set aside for those emergencies, but it's not being eaten up by lost opportunity costs. Being able to explore all the different options out there is really the best way to create a comprehensive retirement strategy. And that is what you get with the team at America's Retirement Headquarters. Go online, take a quick search for the independent income system. It's actually right there on the website as well, americasretirementheadquarters.com, right there on the front page. And while you're there, you can go and schedule a time to speak with them. Once again, americasretirementheadquarters.com, or if you prefer to call, feel free to do so, 419-794-3030. That's 419-794-3030.